Mary me, Annie here. Welcome back to Tarot Together and my series on the attributes of the Magician's card, his wisdom. I'm calling this attribute What We Come Knowing. Symbolism on the card. The table. What surrounds the magician in the natural world represents this power of what we come, every one of us, come knowing. Those elements on the table represent that the magician has everything he needs. He's separated a bit from that table. The power of what we come knowing is he stands in the scenery, surrounded by the word, what is made manifest. His body language shows us he knows he has the power of naming and making manifest. He doesn't need the tools on the table, but they are there. They represent, at the same time, everything he came already knowing, then stepped back from the table and began the naming. But they also represent that at any moment he can return to them, take them up, explore them further, understand the wider meaning of them and himself in relation to them. Everything he needs, everything we need, we have at hand. Whether you are in awareness of that in any moment as part of the struggle of being a seeker, especially in challenging or troubling times. But the comfort of the Magician card is one step removed, back from the table. He's prepared to do the work of life. And he always has the tools on the table to pick up again when he needs them. He knows what to do with them. What we come knowing is about the way we view, name, and organize the world around us. Again, the power of the word we give, all the parts of living. It's about recognizing our own potential within that. It doesn't mean we have all the answers in the moment. It means that everything in this moment has been fed by what's come before. Our life experiences, our wisdom, our knowledge, our resources, the science and learning that is part of the process of living, our very skill, what we choose to do from that. What we come knowing is the aspect of the Magician card, which is prowess. Taking the wisdom and the learnings available from life and making something from that. The Magician is at that point in time from what he came knowing and what he is about to manifest from that. He stands there firmly, naming and making so. And in any moment he needs to, he revisits what he came knowing, the elemental symbols on that table, the wisdom inscribed upon it of others who have come before him. He takes that back up again and he works with it and he reorganizes it and he rearranges it and he steps back and he makes it so. He creates from that place. He stands in that very moment of creation. He has everything around him and in what he came knowing to create. The reversals on this attribute. That feeling of knowing that's misplaced, we're out of time, too much of it, the cockiness of I know everything, being unwilling to return to that table, to the wisdom of others and to the tools that represent what he already knows of life and living. Provides us with reversed characteristics of ineptitude, not making best use of the skills at hand, letting time slip by. If he's frozen in place in this act of creation that his card represents, does he know that he's frozen in place? The misuse of our talents is an interesting reversal to the Magician card. We're so full of good stuff and ability. At our best, it's aligned to a higher purpose for ourselves and for the world we live in. And what happens when we don't make use of that? Maybe we're lazy, maybe we're hesitant, maybe the other influences in the card are coming into play and keeping us from truly making use of everything that we've come knowing, of our wisdom hard-earned. If the cycle of the Fool is he goes through the Fool's journey, he comes back around again and carries again into his first meeting with a magician. He knows. He knows deeply and instinctively how to live his higher life. Is he doing that, though? Perhaps he's uninspired. Hard to imagine being uninspired in that beautiful natural setting. But if he's forgotten what he came knowing, forgotten his own skills, forgotten his potential for creation in every moment, nothing comes from that moment. Is he not accepting he needs to go back to the table, pick up and revisit the wisdom he's worked so hard to gather, to go back to his place of initiation in a sense and start over again? What happens when he comes to a place in life where he's unprepared? He needs to remember to step back and up to the table of his wisdom, to revisit it regularly. His experience and his wisdom, therefore his prowess, is never static, it's never frozen, it's always developing if he names it so. If he steps too far back from his table, he may seem unprepared in life. If his history doesn't come with him, he reinvents the wheel, forgets his hard-won wisdom. And then, if he's forgotten what he comes knowing, which lives here and in here, he forgets how to name it. Poor communication skills at the mundane and at the greater level. He's forgotten his vocabulary. We all come knowing to this moment. We're all taking that knowledge and new, hard-won knowledge into the future. We can stand firm within that, powerful within our skill and our prowess, and what we know becoming the thing we name and make so. Or we can fall into the trap of assuming we know everything. And in that moment we are then left without the word to live by. I'd be interested in your thoughts on what we come knowing, perhaps what's represented on the table of the Magician's card and the world that surrounds him is placed within that, and the decisions he makes that are part of his evolution of wisdom. Below or on our Facebook group. This series on the attributes of the Magician card will continue in the next video.